is Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com, for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Mark Todd. And we're going to be discussing Mark's amazing memoir, 6 Months in 50 Years. A memoir of 99.999% truth. Available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. This is one you're going to want to add to your shelf. You're going to have to head on over there and pick up copies. Before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that Mark was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, I'm talking about Citi of Books. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process and now you need help moving that book you just developed, well, contact Citi of Books, people, because this is exactly what they specialize in. You're going to want to head on over to citiofbooks.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, people, trust me when I tell you, it is an absolute pleasure to have Mark here on the line. Now, his book, I already told you, it's a memoir. Now, first and foremost, I love having authors that have written memoirs because, it's kind of like life itself, right? When you go through certain experiences, well, wisdom is acquired. And a lot of times, through that wisdom, it's going to help you learn and overcome future obstacles. Well, here's the benefit of having memoirs. You can learn from other people's wisdom, and you maybe don't have to go through some of the same obstacles. Maybe you do, depending on the person. No judgment here. But bottom line is, Mark's memoir is going to help teach you a thing or two. And one of the biggest messages here is about understanding the importance of finding your voice. Now, the book is written as a novel. It's not written as a memoir, although everything is taken directly from his experiences and written from his perspective, even though it's under a character, still written from his perspective. And I'm telling you, people, from moments of self-doubt to triumphant discovery, his story is a testament to resilience and the courage to speak your truth. This is so important because whether you've ever felt silenced or you're still searching for your own voice, this conversation promises to inspire and ignite change. Mark Todd is a name to be reckoned with. This is a book you want to add to your shelf. And listen, man, it's his life he's pulling from. He's going to be able to articulate it much better than I ever could. Sit back and strap in. Mark, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
Yes, hi, I'm well. Thank you, Benji. It's wonderful to be here. That was a great introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, listen, man, I was following your lead, all right? You laid down a fantastic roadmap for me to follow. But, joking aside, man, I really do mean it. I think what your book represents is going to be compelling but beneficial to no end. So I'm glad you found your voice, Mark, because now you're going to be helping others find theirs. So let's jump right into the book, 6 Months and 50 Years. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, there's just so much in my mind going on right now. It covers a long period of time. So the book that I wrote, covering 50 years of my life, culminating 50 years of my life. And it begins through a dating app, and through that dating app, I discover that there were many issues in my life that I had not addressed, many memories that came up that I needed to really put in place. And really, it's kind of, you often hear about the men in their 50s and what they go through, and looking out to buy a Corvette or, all of that stuff. For me, I certainly had, it was a time of discovery, of self-discovery for me, my 50s were. And writing this book really, really helped me just understand myself a lot more and move forward, get rid of the garbage and move forward with the positive.
Mark, when we were talking during the pre-screening call, you mentioned something that I think is pivotal. You mentioned how it took nearly 50 years, or it took 50 years, not nearly, it took 50 years for you to find your voice. Now, I think that is probably the heart in the crutch of all of this. But I'm curious to know, what was the defining moment or the experience that made you realize you finally had found it?
Wow, that's a great question. I think, gosh, there's so many different ways to answer that. I think the moment that I really felt that, well, honestly, I think it was when I put down the pen and stopped writing when the book was finished, when I realized what had just happened. It was such a whirlwind, the whole process of writing this book. And I was able to tie up so many loose ends in my personal life and, things of that nature during this process that I don't think that I was totally aware of what was happening until I finished. And then it was a deep sigh and a feeling of euphoria that I had finished this project. But it was so much more deep than that. It was very personal and involved my family. Obviously, it's a memoir, so all of my life and my experiences and all of that are in it, and many of them are not pleasant. They're hard to read, frankly.
Mark, so if I'm understanding you, it almost sounds as if this book and this writing process was almost cathartic for you. It was almost therapeutic in a way because it really helped your own journey of self-discovery. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, absolutely. It really did. It really did. I would say that I did a complete turnaround in my life when I completed this book. The world looked different to me. Of course, this was during COVID too, which was a whole nother, ball game entirely.
Yeah.
But I just looked at the world differently when I was finished. And as I said prior, I was able to, I spoke with members of my family that had affected me in ways that I describe in the book. And I was able to speak to them after, and kind of clear up any air that was, not great between us or just put things in a place that they needed to be in my brain. So I didn't have to continually relive that memory if it was unpleasant.
Well, Mark, you bring up something like that, I can't see myself going anywhere else. So you talk about previous experiences. You talk about members of your family that had done certain things, or there was instances that had affected you in a certain way. Well, sticking along the line of the main theme here, helping individuals find their voice. Well, if you find your voice, that means it must have been silenced at any point. So let's dive down the Rolodex of memories here. Mark, was there a specific person or an event that silenced your voice early in life? And how did you manage to overcome that influence?
There were a handful of instances in my early childhood that affected me negatively for the next, 45 years or so. And again, many of them are difficult to read. They were very difficult to write. There are memories and things that happened that I put down on paper that were horrifying, frankly. And so I don't want to spend too much time with that, but it's difficult to get into that not because of the nature of the event, but because it's so long. It would take forever to discuss it. So you just have to read the book. But in answer to your question, yes, there were certain specific things. And I would say the book points out in the beginning early on that the God that I knew and believed in and just trusted was taken from me by other individuals around me. And, again, that's sort of a broad statement, but, in the book, it obviously goes into it more in depth. Mm-hmm. But early on, I discovered that I needed that presence in my life to guide me and to strengthen me. But due to circumstances, that person that I called God was taken from me. And so the next year, 2 years, 3 years, on up to the next 45 years was a process of trying to find that entity again and put it back in my life in the rightful place.
People, I'm telling you, this is going to be a journey of revelation. Not only as you discover his life, but it's going to cause you to reflect upon your own. And that's why you got to head on over to Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You got to pick it up. It's called 6 Months and 50 Years, a memoir of 99.999% truth by Mark Todd. I'm telling you, it's going to be a journey, hopefully, similar to his, right? Where as he mentioned, when he was writing the book, it was cathartic. It was therapeutic to work through a lot of those things. And I think naturally, oftentimes we suppress a lot of those moments in our own lives that we'd rather just sweep under the rug and not really pay attention to. But keep in mind, when you're suppressing those memories, you're not only suppressing the memory, you are suppressing, in a way, your own voice. And by facing it, as difficult as it may be, is truly going to be monumental in overcoming some of those obstacles that still hold power over you, that still suppress you in a way. And I'm telling you, that's why this book is so powerful in what it's going to help you come to realize about yourself and about your past. Mark, my next question is, let's utilize this now as a way of paying it forward. Because when you're talking about the concept of finding one's voice, I mean, man, listen, that is something we can all relate to. We've all had moments where maybe we feel we should have spoken up and we didn't. Whether, whatever the instance itself called for, when it comes to finding your voice, having that confidence, man, sometimes it's not easy. So I want to ask you, because in a world that we live in now, where we have so many influences, and this is up for you, Mark, you can pay it forward to other listeners out there, or as a way of talking to your younger self. If you were offering advice, how would you articulate it to someone else to help them distinguish between the voices of others, society, family, peers, and their own authentic voice?
Well, that also is a great question. Where do I even begin with that? To me, after I completed this book, I discovered that I just could not be silent about certain injustices. I just couldn't. It just would not happen anymore. And so it may be as simple as, I remember this happened a short time after I finished the book. I was at a store, and a vehicle opened its door and dumped trash out in the parking lot. And I remember instantly reacting in a way. I was so angry and so really just bewildered, honestly, that would happen, that they would do that this person would just do that. And prior to this book, I would not have said a word. I wouldn't have, I just would have went on. I just would have stuffed it down inside. Yeah. That whole emotion around what I just witnessed. After the book, and this did happen, I did confront the person and ask them what it is that they were doing, because I asked if I could take that trash and throw it away for them, hoping that they might see something, recognize something in themselves. That particular instance didn't go very well. They just sped off. But the point is I just wouldn't have done that in the past. Yeah. And so that voice that, was called many different things for all of us. That voice that we hear, that is us in our heads, I feel like, man, it's real. It's real. Mm-hmm. But you have to pick it out and shake it out, and you have to get rid of all the garbage around it, or or it just sits there silent and it festers.
You know, Mark, I love what you just said. Hey, the entire story, you know, you finding your voice, having the bravery to come out and say it, regardless of how it landed on the other individual, is irrelevant, because the key here is you. And as you mentioned, prior to writing this book, you wouldn't have said anything, but through the process, you found the confidence and the bravery to speak up. And that, in and of itself, is a huge accomplishment. But I love how you were talking about how everyone has that voice that's within them. When we're talking about finding one's voice, if it needs to be found, that means it was silenced. And if it was silenced, we have to really figure out why and how. And it's difficult. It's such a broad concept because in the world that we live in, and maybe it's always been this way to certain degrees, but there is a lot of influence now. It's no longer just an influence between your family, your friends, your peers, and those that are around you physically. But given the digital world that we are currently in and how you can touch people across the world that you will never even meet, or vice versa, someone on the opposite side of the planet can affect you in such a monumental way just because of the digital outreach that we currently have available to us. That offers a lot of freedom, but it also comes with a massive amount of responsibility. And we understand that not everybody is as responsible as they should be when they're wielding their power online. Well, my question to you as we close out, sticking with everyone having that voice, well, I'm curious to know, Mark, in your opinion, do you believe that everyone has this innate voice within them that needs to be cultured or just brought out? Or is it something that through time, through our experiences, we develop? And then, you know, again, in your instance, it took 50 years. Well, Mark, was that voice always there throughout those 50 years? Or was it something that was cultivated through the 50 years and then was born at that mark? What would you say? I mean, it's a deep conversation. It's a question there. It's a broad one, but I'm curious to know, again, because as we're paying it forward to others listening in, because I know there's people here in our listening audience, man, where they're like, Mark, I love the fact that you found this, and that's great, but I don't have the voice inside myself. I don't feel it. I don't, you know, and they're wondering how to find it. So I guess the question to you, as broad as it may be, is do you believe that everyone has a voice waiting to be discovered, or is it something we create over time?
I think that it's there. I think it's, as I said before, it's called many different things, a conscience or a still small voice, or it's your inner you. I believe that we all have it, and we all have instances, in our life where something may take place, something negative happens, and generally, when you're a child, I'm speaking now. When you're a child,
yeah,
and you express yourself in a certain way. You may like, you may want to wear a certain outfit to a religious event that may not be appropriate in other people's eyes, but you think it's fine, and then so you want to wear that outfit, and you are beat down for wearing that or for wanting to wear that. So you go inside yourself because others around you are sort of beating on you that's not cool. So in time, that voice it just retreats inside because you don't feel confident about your own decisions, and that just builds on itself. So it does take time. To answer your question, it's both ways. It takes time to understand that voice, but it has to begin with acceptance and self-expression. We all have to express ourselves in whatever way we do from earliest moments of life. And if others around us don't agree with that expression, then it makes life difficult through those formative years. But we all have that voice. It's just a matter of, for me anyway, it's a matter of understanding that I'm okay, that I'm fine, and that just because I feel this way doesn't mean that you have to feel that way, and that's okay. We don't have to feel the same way. The joy and the magic happens when we both agree that it can be okay. We just don't have to agree. the one thing I didn't talk about in the book, but I don't know that we need to, but the end of the book is the only part that's not truth is the last page of the book. And so I did not quite figure out how to word it, to get it. I didn't know if I should even say, so the character in the book at the end kills himself.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is it's not a negative thing. The reason that happens is because myself as a writer, I had to get rid of that person. It was symbolic for me.
Yeah.
That's how I was able to let go of everything. I didn't kill myself. That character, that part of me that was that person that did not speak ever, is what I killed off. And so because of that, that's where the freedom came.
Mark, I love what you just said. Because listen, here's the thing, man. The artist in me, I get it. And I know a lot of my listening audience gets it as well. It's not, as you said, as I said, it's not about death. It's not about suicide. It's not about the physical manifestation of ending one's life. It's about the symbolic representation of evolving, right? Of evolution, of almost reincarnation in a way. That is beautiful, man. What a wonderful artistic expression. And people, this is why I'm telling you, you need to pick up copies. This is the book for you, 6 months in 50 Years by Mark Todd. It's going to help open your eyes to so much. It's going to help you process so much. It's going to help you evolve. You know where to go, man. You got to pick up your copies and just get lost in it. Utilize it for the magnificent resource that it truly is. While you're at it, get it as a gift for someone else as well. Because this is a book that's much more than a literary creation. This is a movement. Mark, I'm telling you, man, you have done something truly remarkable by comprising this book. Thank you for creating it. Thank you for the words of wisdom, but most importantly, thank you for being here with us to discuss it through people of distinction.
Thank you. Same to you, Benji. It's been an honor. Thank you.